Hello Cloud Gurus, I'm Nigel Poulton and welcome to another episode of Kubernetes This Month. As always, we'll run through the major news and announcements in our quick catch-up section. We'll explore 2 or 3 of those in more detail in the deeper dive section, and then we'll wrap up with another Guru of the Month. So, make yourself comfy and get ready to enjoy. Alright then, what's been happening in the world of Kubernetes this month? Well, I'm going to start with VMware. You see, last month saw the annual VMworld conference in the States, and it's no big surprise that Kubernetes was a huge focus. VMware announced Project Pacific, a major re-architecting of their flagship vSphere product to integrate Kubernetes. We got VMware Tatsu, a portfolio of products aimed at helping enterprises build software on Kubernetes. They also announced Octant, a tool to help developers understand what's going on in their Kubernetes clusters. And if all that wasn't enough, they've gone ahead and acquired Pivotal, which itself not so long ago added support for Kubernetes. Now, moving away from VMware, we got a GA version of Red Hat OpenShift Service Mesh. Linkerd, which gave us a 2.4 release last month, gave us a 2.5 release this month with the option to install via Helm. And it is happy birthday to the Knative project, which gives us serverless workloads on Kubernetes. The project there turned 1 and also got a 0.8 release. So congrats to everyone involved there, a great first year, and we're expecting the next release, 0.9, to be the official 1.0 or GA release. Cillium, the open source project all about securing modern cloud-native networks, released version 1.6, and the guys at Netflix found a major flaw in the HTTP library used by Kubernetes and a bunch of other related projects. Now, all versions of Kubernetes are affected, and to keep your clusters secure, you should upgrade to one of the versions we're showing on the screen now. The Cisco container platform now integrates with Azure Kubernetes Service, meaning you can, if you want, use the Cisco container platform to manage your on-prem and your AKS clusters. And last, but most certainly not least, the CNCF has officially archived the Rocket project. I want to say something about this. Obviously, this announcement means that if you're using Rocket as your container runtime, you should look at migrating, maybe to Containerd or Cryo. But I want to put on record a huge thanks to the guys involved in the Rocket project. Yes, the project is being archived, but it played a massive role in getting us to where we are today with lean and tight container runtimes. So thanks again to the folks behind Rocket. You changed the container world for the better. And that's a great way to wrap up our catch-up section. In this month's deeper dive section, we'll pick up on 3 things: VMware's Project Pacific, OpenShift Service Mesh, and Cillium 1.6. VMware Project Pacific. VMware's flagship vSphere product, used and loved by enterprises across the globe, is getting a huge architectural overhaul to integrate Kubernetes into the vSphere control plane. Long story short, vSphere is becoming Kubernetes native, though the term that VMware seems to be using is fusing vSphere with Kubernetes. vSphere is making the move into the world of modern cloud-native apps, while no doubt keeping its strengths with the more traditional apps. I think one of the goals is going to be making Kubernetes look like vSphere for sysadmins, but then on the flip side, make vSphere look like Kubernetes to cloud-native developers. And at the time of recording, it's in tech preview. Red Hat announced general availability of OpenShift Service Mesh based on Istio. Now, 2 things are important to me. First up, the fact that it's based on Istio is always going to be interesting while we're in the middle of a service mesh war, especially one where Istio is a major player. The second interesting thing is that it's available as a one-click install. Now, service meshes can be hard, or at least complex, especially if they're based on Istio. So a one-click install for OpenShift for customers, I mean, that is potentially huge. Though we probably shouldn't be surprised. It is, after all, following the Red Hat mantra of taking upstream stuff that can be complicated and making it usable for mere mortals. Oh, and of course, it comes with a support contract, so you can sleep at night. This one-click install and lifecycle management stuff is all made possible using a service mesh operator, which is absolutely the way things should be for anyone fully bought into Kubernetes. So nice one, OpenShift. Thumbs up all across the board there. Finally, in this month's deep dive section, Cillium 1.6. So Cillium's an open source technology that aims to secure modern cloud native networks. Now, those are my words, right? But think securing API endpoints and the likes. Well, they shipped version 1.6, which brings a bunch of features, including the possibility of running a fully fledged Kubernetes cluster with no kube-proxy. In a standard Kubernetes cluster, every node runs three things, right? A kubelet, a container runtime, and kube-proxy. With kube-proxy being in charge of local networking and all the IP tables or IPVS rules to implement services and the likes. The IP tables implementation, at least, can be slow and clunky. Cillium 1.6 lets you go kube-proxy less. So instead of running kube-proxy everywhere with its potentially long lists of IP tables rules, Cillium uses eBPF and hash tables to bring better and more deterministic performance, which means two things. One, performance shouldn't drop off a cliff as you increment the number of services. And two, every service should perform pretty much the same as every other service. Anyway, it's obviously very early for anything like that, but it's piqued my interest. And that wraps up our deeper dive section. Last month's Guru of the Month question was about how we make updates to config maps reflecting the pods and containers that are consuming them. And the answer was to mount the config map into the container as a config map volume. And our winner is Mark Nichols, a software architect from St. Louis in the USA. So thanks of course to everybody who chipped in, and congratulations to you, Mark. You will be receiving a Guru of the Month swag bag. This month's question is on the forum link below, and as always, if you think you know the answer, get involved. Who knows, you might win. And on that note, well, you know it by now. I'll see you next month, same cube time, same cube place.